Hi, my name is Shanice Walcott. I'm Afro-Trinidadian, and I'm from Nova Southeastern University, and this is my elevated story. So my journey was like a little bit different. So I grew up in the hospital setting, but because I had to be there against my will. Being in Tampa, we have hurricanes, and when I was younger and my dad was stationed uh, in Seattle, I had to spend a lot of those hurricane days with my mom in the hospital, and I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home or like playing with other kids. So I told myself I was never going to be in the hospital, just purely because I had to be there against my own will. So by the time I got to high school, all I knew that I wanted to do all I knew that I wanted to go into the field was psychology. I just knew that I could either be a psychologist, a therapist. I just know that I wanted to do something with psychology. And then once I got into college, my sophomore year, my mom, she would tell me more and more of her stories of being in the hospital. And I realized I'm like, this is ridiculous. Me trying to resist this calling that I've always had. I didn't want to be in the hospital just because I grew up in there, but I knew that like healthcare and medicine was my calling. And that's when I got involved in volunteering inside the hospital again and shadowing. And I was like, I do love this. I've always loved this. I think for me, there wasn't one event that made me choose medicine. I think it was a mix of past experiences. So yes, my brother being diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then one thing that happened when I was a senior, my mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and her care was very convoluted. But by the time, like when I decided that I wanted to get into medicine my sophomore year, it's because she found the perfect doctor, like a doctor that really related to her, really resonated with us and really just changed her care. Like she started improving so much. And I think that was the eye opener that was like, okay, let me explore this field a bit more. And that's when I started shadowing in the inpatient psychiatric unit. And then that experience, like working with those patients, was like, okay, this is it. I need to be a doctor. I had amazing role models around me, and I was like, there's no other option now. The financial aspect of medical school is, one of the biggest aspects that will get us down. Personally, for me, I've worked full time since I was out of high school. I worked full time um, in my undergrad when I was taking, like when I was had a heavy load and full semester. And it's just one of those things that like you have to make that money. Like, we have to buy our resources. And then, in circumstances, we're fortunate enough to have scholarships like this and, people that will help you along the way. But at the end of the day, like, I had to secure the bag and, keep pushing. One thing that definitely kind of deterred my journey. So I ended up having to take a double gap year. And one of those reasons why was securing like letters of recommendations from mentors or just like anybody that can really speak to my character. I don't think, especially for minorities, I don't think we have enough mentors. And I never knew that that would be something that would set me back so far, is really having, because I could go and I could find the random professor, can you write this letter for me? And I'm sure they would write it, but finding somebody who can really like speak to your character and what you've done is so hard to do these days. Um, and so yeah, that's definitely one major problem that I see with the journey. So when I first saw that I was going to be an ElevateMeD Scholar, of course, I called my mom and I called my parents and I was like, oh my gosh, I got the scholarship. But the next person that I called was actually my research mentor. We are working on research that aims to increase diversity in the field of healthcare. And I was all like, I got a scholarship for something that we read in the articles. And she wrote my letter of recommendation. And so we just started screaming because we're like, this, what we read in the articles is coming to play. Like, this is what we've been saying we need. We need, help with finances, we need mentorship. And this and Elevate Med was like, it just incorporated almost everything that we read in the literature. And I couldn't believe that I was going to be a part of that. So it was, it still doesn't even seem real to me.